That feeling of profound distance, that sense of being stuck in static is not a sign that you are failing. It is the definitive, quantum signature that you have already been chosen, and your old self is dissolving. This is physics, not philosophy. In the next 45 minutes, I will show you precisely why this experience of stuckness is the final, required stage before a quantum shift reorganizes your entire reality. So if you have been doing the work, the meditation, the journaling, the healing, and you only feel more disconnected, more isolated, more distant from your desires than ever before, you are exactly where you need to be. To understand what is happening to you, we must first look beyond psychology and into the fundamental laws of energy. In quantum physics, there is a principle known as a state transition. It governs how a system moves from a lower energy state to a higher one. Think of water in a kettle. To transform from liquid water into powerful steam, it cannot just become a little warmer. It must absorb a tremendous amount of energy until it reaches a critical boiling point. At that point, the system becomes chaotic. It churns, it bubbles, it appears unstable and violent. To an outside observer, it might look like the water is breaking down, but it is not breaking down. It is breaking through. This chaotic, unstable phase is not an error in the process. It is the process itself. It is the mandatory deconstruction of the old state, required for the emergence of the new, more coherent, higher energy state. Your consciousness operates under the same fundamental law. The profound instability, the emotional chaos, the feeling that everything is falling apart. This is the signature of a system that has absorbed enough spiritual and energetic light to prepare for a leap. You are not failing. You are boiling. You are at that critical point of transition where the old reality can no longer hold its form. Let's speak directly to the pain of this experience. It is a unique and agonizing state of being. It's the feeling that your prayers, your intentions, your visualizations are hitting an invisible glass wall just a few feet in front of you and shattering. It's the profound numbness where things that used to bring you joy now feel like hollow echoes. It's the exhaustion that comes from pouring your soul into your evolution, only to feel more emotionally distant from the outcome than when you first began. You feel a separation not just from your goals, but from your own heart, your own spirit. This is the most deeply misunderstood phase of human evolution, often misdiagnosed as depression, burnout, or spiritual failure. It is none of those things. Have you ever felt like you're screaming into a void, doing all the right things only to feel more disconnected than when you started? If this reframe of stuckness as a sign of selection resonates deeply, hit the like button now. It signals that this validation is needed. What you are experiencing can be best understood through a powerful metaphor. Imagine your consciousness is a sophisticated radio receiver. For your entire life, it has been perfectly tuned to a specific frequency, the broadcast of your old self. This station played the songs of your old limitations, your old stories, your old identity. You knew its rhythm, its static, its every nuance. Now, because of the work you have done, a new, far more powerful broadcast is beginning to emerge from the cosmos, the frequency of your future, expanded self. But for your receiver to lock onto this new, higher vibrational signal, it must first let go of the old one. The distance you feel, the static in your heart, the numbness in your life. That is not the sound of your receiver breaking. It is the sound of the old station dying out, the silence between songs. It is a sign that your dial is turning. The interference and the sense of loss are not you getting further away from your goal. They are the definitive sonic proof that you are moving away from your past. The system cannot play two stations at once. The old frequency must fade to silence before the clarity and power of the new one can be fully received without distortion. So let me make a promise to you. By the end of this video, you will no longer fear this feeling of distance. You will no longer interpret this sacred static as a sign of your failure. You will understand its physics, recognize its paradoxical signs in your life, and learn how to use it as a powerful biofeedback tool. You will welcome it as the undeniable final confirmation that your new reality is not just possible, not just probable, but imminent. Your reality is loading. The static is proof. To understand this distance you feel, we have to move beyond spirituality and into physics. Your consciousness, that cosmic radio we spoke of, operates under universal laws, and one of the most fundamental laws of quantum systems is the principle of state transition. For a new, more coherent reality to materialize, the old one must first dissolve. It cannot simply be painted over or upgraded. It must be completely deconstructed. This process has a name. It's called decoherence. Decoherence is the process by which a quantum system loses its defined state due to interaction with its environment. In personal terms, your old reality, the one defined by your past, traumas, your limiting beliefs, your old identity, must lose its coherence. It has to break down into quantum potential, into pure static, before it can be reassembled into a new, higher-order reality. This is not a gentle fading out. From the inside, from the human perspective, decoherence feels like loss. It feels like confusion. It feels like failure. It feels like everything solid in your life is turning to dust in your hands. The career that once defined you now feels hollow. The relationships that were your bedrock now feel distant. The beliefs that gave you comfort now feel like empty words. This is not a sign that you are broken. It is the signature of a successful and imminent quantum state transition. The architecture of your old reality is being systematically dismantled, and the silence you're feeling is the sound of the demolition crew finishing their work. The ground is supposed to feel like it's disappearing from under you because it is. You are being uncreated to make space for what is coming. This brings us to the central dynamic that has trapped so many evolved souls. It is a dynamic I call the pre-shift paradox. The paradox is this: the closer you get to your new reality, the weaker the signal from your old reality becomes, creating the profound and terrifying illusion that you are getting further away from everything. Imagine you are walking away from a massive radio tower that has been broadcasting the same station your entire life, the old self station. A mile ahead in the darkness is a new, more powerful tower, broadcasting the frequency of your future self. As you walk toward the new tower, the signal from the old one begins to crackle. It fades. It fills with static. The music becomes distorted. The voices become unrecognizable. If you judge your progress by the clarity of the old signal you are leaving behind, you will believe you are failing. You will think you are lost in a wasteland of noise. You will be tempted to run back toward the familiar static of the old tower, just to feel something solid again. But the static is not a measure of your failure. It is a measure of your progress. The increasing distance you feel from your old life is direct empirical evidence of your proximity to the new one. The more profound the disconnection, the closer you are to the new frequency locking in. This is the pre-shift paradox, and understanding it is the key to your sanity and your liberation during this final stage. This is precisely why your old methods are now failing you. It is why every effort you make seems to push you deeper into the void. You have been told to push harder, to visualize more intensely, to raise your vibration, to force the feeling of the wish fulfilled. And those tools were powerful. They were the engine that got you here, that moved you away from the old tower in the first place. But now, in the space between the signals, those tools have become counterproductive. Using them now is like grabbing your cosmic radio, shaking it violently, and screaming at it to find the old station that is no longer broadcasting. Pushing harder only creates more static. Visualizing your old desires only amplifies the frequency of a reality that is already dissolving. Trying to raise your vibration becomes an act of resistance against the sacred, necessary process of decoherence. You are creating a feedback loop of frustration. You try. It doesn't work. You feel like a failure. So you try even harder, which deepens the disconnection and reinforces the belief that you are fundamentally broken. The work is no longer to push. The work is to allow the old signal to die. The work is to let go of the dial. This leads to the new paradigm, the only approach that functions in the quantum void. It is the paradigm of radical acceptance. This is not passive waiting. It is not giving up. It is the most active, courageous state of being you can embody. It is the act of consciously holding the space for the new reality to be born. You stand in the silence. You allow the static. You welcome the void. Because you now understand that the void is not empty. It is pregnant with potential. It is the fertile darkness of the quantum field from which all realities are created. Many of you search for answers about the experience of feeling stuck before spiritual awakening. This pre-shift. Paradox is the most precise explanation for that phenomenon. That feeling of being stuck is not an obstacle on your path. It is the path itself. You are not waiting for the new frequency to arrive. You are the space that allows it to land. Your stillness, your surrender to the static, is what creates the perfect interference-free environment for the new signal of your future self to lock in, crystal clear and permanent. Where in your life have you been frantically turning the dial, trying to find a signal that's gone, instead of calmly waiting for the new broadcast to begin? Here is the one sentence that will change everything for you. We believe the distance is a void we must cross, a chasm to be bridged, a darkness to be endured. The revelation is this: the distance is the destination. That feeling of emptiness, of static, of profound separation from your desires, is not the space between you and your new reality. It is the very substance from which your new reality is being built. It is the fertile quantum space, the energetic womb where your old self is systemically, lovingly, and completely dissolved, and your new self is constructed, atom by atom. This changes everything, because if the void is the destination, then your entire objective shifts. The goal is no longer to get rid of the stuck feeling. The goal is to inhabit it, to occupy it so completely, so fearlessly, that you become one with the raw creative power of the universe. Think about what this means. Every moment you have felt lost, every prayer that seemed to hit a ceiling, every tear shed in frustration that nothing was working, was a lie. A profound misunderstanding of the process. You haven't been failing. You have been succeeding perfectly without realizing it. Your perceived failure has been the perfect execution of the most critical stage of your evolution. By enduring the numbness, by not running from the silence, by simply surviving the feeling of being disconnected, you were performing the single most important task required of you. You were allowing the old reality to fully and completely decohere. You were holding the sacred space for dissolution. Any attempt to push harder or visualize more would have been an interruption, a desperate attempt to tune into a dead frequency. Your exhaustion was the sign of your success. Your feeling of being stuck was the proof of your progress. This requires a total shift in your approach, a new methodology for a new reality. The old way was to transmit, to send out your intentions like radio signals, hoping something would hear you, to strive, to build, to force. The new way is to receive. It is a profound shift from active doing to active being. You stop frantically building a bridge to the other side of the canyon, only to realize that the canyon itself is the sacred ground you were meant to occupy. You don't need to cross it. You need to descend into it. You stop transmitting and you become the ultimate receiver. You become the resonant chamber itself. You allow the new frequency to be born within the perfect silence you are now curating. You allow yourself to arrive. This transforms your very identity. You are not a seeker lost in the dark. A seeker implies something is missing, that you are incomplete. That is the old energy. Your new identity is that of a quantum midwife. A midwife does not create the life. A midwife holds the sacred, powerful space for life to emerge on its own terms. She is calm in the chaos. She is a pillar of strength in the intensity of transformation. She trusts the process implicitly, knowing that the pain and pressure are not signs of failure, but the necessary forces of birth. You are attending to the birth of your new self in the sacred space of the unknown. So, people wonder, what are the signs you're chosen? It's not visions or angel numbers. It's not a booming voice from the heavens. The ultimate sign, the final initiation, is your ability to endure this sacred void, your capacity to sit in the static and recognize it not as noise, but as the sound of worlds changing. That is the sign you have been selected. What if the feeling of being stuck isn't a prison but a chrysalis? This pre-shift paradox isn't just a theory. It isn't an abstract concept designed to make you feel better. It is a living process, and it leaves fingerprints all over your life. You have been seeing the evidence for months, maybe years, but judging it as failure, as breakdown, as you losing your way. I am going to show you now how to read the evidence correctly. Here are the 3 paradoxical signs that prove, beyond any doubt, that you are in the final sacred stage of dissolution before your new reality locks in. The first is the sign of repulsion. This one is painful. It feels like your world is shrinking. Friends you have known for a decade suddenly feel irritating, their conversations shallow, their energy draining. The job that once gave you a sense of identity now feels like a heavy costume you can barely stand to put on each morning. Hobbies and interests that used to light you up now feel like chores. You find yourself canceling plans, seeking solitude not because you are depressed, but because the noise of your old life has become unbearable. You have been told this is you being antisocial, being negative, or pushing people away. The truth is a matter of physics. Your internal frequency has already shifted to a new bandwidth. The people and circumstances of your old life are still broadcasting on their familiar station. The irritation you feel is not personal. It is the dissonance of two incompatible frequencies. Your radio can no longer play their station without painful static. It feels like loss, but it is the most concrete evidence you could ask for that your internal reality has already completed a massive upgrade. The external is just waiting for the signal to catch up. The repulsion is a compass, telling you that you are no longer there. You have already left. The second sign is perhaps the most confusing, the most disorienting. It is the sign of empty manifestation. This is when you finally get the thing you have been working towards for years. The promotion, the relationship, the financial milestone. You arrive at the destination you had pinned on your vision board. You cross the finish line, and you feel nothing. A hollow echo where you expected a symphony of joy. This can trigger a deep panic. Was my desire wrong? Am I incapable of feeling happiness? Did I do all this work for nothing? You are asking the wrong questions. The emptiness is not a sign your desire was wrong. It is definitive proof that you have spiritually and energetically outgrown the version of you that first wanted it. Your future self, the self that is being born in the void, has a completely different set of values, a new definition of fulfillment. The desires of your past self have become obsolete. It is like you ordered a meal weeks ago, and by the time it arrives, you are no longer hungry for it. Your future self is calling you forward so powerfully that it renders the victories of your past self meaningless. This hollowness is a sacred confirmation. It proves that what is coming for you is so much grander than what you once thought you wanted. And then, there is the third sign, the most subtle, the most powerful, the one most often misdiagnosed by the outside world, the sign of unprompted stillness. You find yourself just staring into space, sitting in your car in the driveway, engine off, for 10 minutes before going inside. You have a to-do list, you have ambitions, you have responsibilities, but your body and mind refuse to cooperate. There is an overwhelming pull to simply be still, to do nothing. Society has a judgment for this. It calls it laziness, apathy, procrastination, even depression. Quantum reality calls it recalibration. Your entire energetic, neurological, and biological system is undergoing the most profound software update of its life. It is defragmenting old timelines, deleting corrupted identity files, and preparing to install a new operating system for reality. This process requires an immense amount of energy, an energy that must be diverted from external doing to internal being. You cannot use the computer while it reboots. That forced stillness, that inability to be productive, is not a sign you are failing. It is the ultimate sign you are being chosen. Your system is being prepared for a reality so different, so much more complex and coherent, that it requires you to go completely offline to handle the download. Repulsion from the old, emptiness in old achievements, a gravitational pull toward stillness. These are not symptoms of a life in decline. They are the sacred data points of a consciousness in ascension. They are the fingerprints of the divine proving you are in the chrysalis. So you must learn to read the static, to see the patterns in what you once called noise. Don't mourn the lost connection. Celebrate the frequency shift. Don't fear the hollow victory. Recognize you have already outgrown the game. Don't fight the stillness. Surrender to the sacred reboot. Which of these signs have you been judging as failure that you can now see as definitive proof of your evolution? Anchor this revelation right now. Comment which of these 3 paradoxical signs you are experiencing right now. Your experience validates the journey for others. It transforms this from a lonely, confusing path into a collective, validated evolution. Read the comments and see that you are not alone in this. You are part of a wave. You understand the signs. You recognize their fingerprints all over your life. But this knowledge, this intellectual conviction is only the map. It is not the territory. To complete this journey, we must stop observing the process and become it. We must stop looking at the map and step into the landscape itself. Right now, we will step into the center of that void, not to escape it, but to find its unimaginable power. If you want to know, how does a quantum shift feel? It feels like this. It starts not with a bang, but with a silent internal tuning. So if it feels safe and right for you in this moment, I invite you to gently close your eyes. Take a slow, deep breath, and another. Let the tension in your shoulders dissolve. Let the thoughts of the day become distant clouds. Now bring your awareness to that feeling we have been discussing. That feeling of distance, of static, of a subtle hum of disconnection between you and the world you desire. For a moment, just observe it. But I want you to make a critical shift. Stop sensing it as a space between you and something else. That is the illusion. Instead, feel it inside your own body. Sense it not as an external void, but as an internal energy field. Perhaps it feels like a tingling in your hands, a subtle vibration behind your eyes, a quiet hum in your chest. This isn't emptiness. This is the raw material of creation. It is the energy of pure potentiality before it has collapsed into form. This is the sound of your old reality decohering at a cellular level. Do not resist it. Do not judge. Simply notice it. This static is not your enemy. It is the signature of your own transformation. Now, we do the one thing your old self would never do. Instead of pushing this feeling away, instead of trying to fill it with noise or distraction, we are going to invite it closer. With your next breath, breathe directly into that field of static. Imagine your breath feeding it, allowing it to expand, giving it permission to be fully present within you. Let it fill your arms, your legs, your entire being. This is not surrender. This is mastery. You are showing the universe that you are not afraid of the fertile darkness. You are not afraid of the silence between notes. You are demonstrating that you are stable enough to hold the space for a new world to be born. And as you allow this field to saturate you, notice what happens at its very center. Go deeper into it, past the tingling, past the hum, deeper. At the absolute core of the static, you will find something extraordinary. You will find a profound and perfect stillness, an absolute, unshakable peace. This is the zero-point field, the silent source from which all frequencies are born. It is the canvas upon which your new reality will be painted. Rest here for a moment. Feel its power. This is not emptiness. This is fullness. It is the eye of the storm. It is your true center. From this silent, powerful center, I want you to just listen. Not with your ears, but with your entire being. Do not search, do not strive. Simply be receptive. A new vibration is beginning to emerge from the stillness. It is impossibly subtle at first. A whisper. Perhaps it's a feeling tone. A single emotional note. Is it peace? Is it freedom? Is it knowing? Is it love? Don't label it with your mind just yet. Just feel it. Maybe it has a color, a warmth, a texture. This is not an old feeling you are remembering. This is a new frequency you are meeting for the first time. This is the broadcast of your future self. It has been waiting for you here in the silence all along. Let your awareness gently rest upon it. Don't grab it. Don't force it to grow stronger. Simply notice it. Acknowledge its presence. Welcome it. This single subtle feeling is the seed of your entire new reality. And now, with your next breath, breathe life into that new frequency. Feel that single feeling tone begin to expand. Gently, from the center of your being. Feel it expanding outward, turning the static into its own coherent light. It grows stronger, not through force, but through your focused, loving attention. Feel it fill your chest, your throat, your mind. Let this single feeling become your entire reality. Let it overwrite every old program, every fear, every limitation. There is no more static. There is no more distance. You are no longer in the void, listening for a signal. You are the new broadcast. You are the frequency. Take a final, deep breath, anchoring this vibration deep into your bones, into your DNA, into the very core of who you are now. And when you are ready, Gently, slowly, you can begin to bring your awareness back to the space around you. Bring that core feeling tone with you. It doesn't stay behind in the meditation. It is now your new resonant state of being. Open your eyes. As you sat in the center of that void, what was the one-word feeling of the new frequency that emerged? You are no longer a victim of the static. You are a conscious calibrator. This is the shift in identity that changes everything. That feeling of distance, that void you once feared, is no longer your prison. It is your instrument panel. You now use it as the most precise biofeedback tool available to a human being. A direct signal from the quantum field telling you exactly where your frequency is tuned. From this moment on, you stop being an effect and you become the cause. You become the engineer of your own quantum instrument. Here are the tools to do it. The first is a practice of radical self-awareness. We will call it the static audit. Every day for just 5 minutes, you will sit with any feeling of distance, disconnection, or static that arises. But instead of your old pattern, which was to resist it, fear it, or try to fix it, you will do the opposite. You will welcome it. You will let it be there. Then, with the calm authority of a scientist observing data, you will ask it a single, powerful question. What old belief system is broadcasting this static? Is it the belief that you are not worthy? Is it the frequency of an old trauma? Is it the inherited story that you must struggle to succeed? Do not judge the answer. Do not analyze it. Your only job is to hear it, to see it, to name it. In the quantum world, observation is an act of creation. By naming the old belief from your new position of awareness, you separate from it. You are no longer entangled with it. You collapse its power. It is a signal from a station that is no longer on the air, an echo bouncing through an empty room. Simply naming it is the act that turns the volume down to zero. This is a profound act of quantum hygiene, clearing the energetic space so that the architecture of your new reality can crystallize without interference. Name it, and watch it dissolve. The second tool is for when the static is gone. It's called frequency anchoring. The static audit clears the old signal. Frequency anchoring intentionally broadcasts the new one. In the last section, you sat in the center of the void, and from that silence, a new feeling tone emerged. It might have been peace. It might have been freedom. It might have been certainty. It was simple. It was pure. That feeling is your new home frequency. It is the signature vibration of your future self. Right now, I want you to recall that one-word feeling. Feel it in your body. Let it expand from your heart. Center until it fills every cell. Now, while you are fully embodying that feeling, create a simple, repeatable physical gesture. Touch your thumb and middle finger together. Place a hand on your heart. Make a fist that only you can feel. This is your anchor. You have just created a direct neurophysical link between a simple gesture and a complex quantum state. Throughout your day, whenever you feel the static beginning to creep in, or even when you just want to reinforce your new state, you will deploy your anchor. Touch those two fingers together. Feel that frequency rush back into your system instantly. It is a cheat code. It is a way to bypass the conscious mind, the doubt, the old stories, and plug directly back into the broadcast of your new reality. You are no longer hoping to feel that way. You are commanding it into being with a single, intentional touch. The final tool is the most critical for navigating the world outside of you. We will call it navigating the echo. As your frequency stabilizes, something fascinating and sometimes challenging will begin to happen. People from your past, friends, family, colleagues, will begin to react. They are still tuned into your old frequency. They expect the old you to show up, the one who was broadcasting struggle or people-pleasing or limitation. When your new frequency meets their old expectation, it creates dissonance. This can look like confusion, arguments, or people saying, "You've changed," as if it's an accusation. This is the echo of your former self. Your old training is to engage, to explain, to justify, to defend your new state of being. You must do none of these things. That is the ultimate test. Engaging with the echo is tuning your own receiver back to that dead station. It is an invitation back to a timeline that is already dissolved. Your only job is to hold your new frequency. See their reaction not as a personal attack, but as a notification from the universe. A ping. It is a confirmation that your broadcast has successfully changed, and the rest of the network is now updating. Your stillness, your refusal to engage with the drama, is what forces their reality to recalibrate to yours. You do not explain your new frequency. You simply are it, and you allow the world to reorganize itself around that undeniable fact. These three tools, the static audit, frequency anchoring, and navigating the echo, form your integration framework. The coming days and weeks are not a passive waiting period. They are an active integration period. You are a conscious calibrator, and your work is to diligently stabilize your new frequency before the external world fully manifests around it. You are hardening the foundation so the skyscraper of your new life can be built upon it. You are no longer waiting for a sign. You have become the signal. What is the very first old signal you will consciously choose not to tune into tomorrow? You now understand the pre-shift paradox. You have the tools to navigate the void. You are no longer afraid of the silence. You recognize it as the sound of creation. You have transformed from a passive listener, hoping to catch a signal, into an active participant in the cosmic symphony. The radio receiver has become aware of its own power. But being chosen for a shift is just the first step. Mastering the silence is the qualification, not the final destination. The shift itself is an event with its own physics, its own rules of navigation. When it happens, the world will look the same, but it will operate on entirely new principles. The laws of cause and effect you once knew will become obsolete. Your very relationship with time and space will be rewritten. You move from being a receiver of a new frequency to becoming a conscious architect of a new network of reality. This is the great secret. Mastering the void prepares you for the arrival. But what happens in the first 48 hours after your new reality locks in? How do you anchor yourself so firmly in the new state that the gravitational pull of your past becomes powerless? How do you avoid collapsing back into the old timeline out of sheer habit, out of the muscle memory of your former self? The transition is the most volatile phase, where the new reality is still fragile, still solidifying. In our next deep dive, the first 48 hours after your quantum shift explained, we will break down the critical integration protocol you must follow to secure your new timeline permanently. And after that, we will go even deeper. We will explore quantum entanglement explained, why other people in your reality are shifting with you, because your shift is not a solo journey. You are a node in a vast grid of consciousness, and when you change your frequency, you send ripples across the entire network. Now that you know you are chosen, what if the shift isn't just for you, but for everyone you're connected to? Subscribe and turn on all notifications. The next video, the first 48 hours after your quantum shift explained, is the critical integration manual you'll need. You were chosen because you were strong enough to endure the silence. You were strong enough to sit in the static and not break. You have passed the final test. Your old self has ended. Welcome to the beginning.